homestand of the season has been a resounding success for the Rays, winning 8 of 10. Today, the wrap-up game at the Trop. Red-hot rookie Wade Davis takes the hill for the Rays against Joe Mauer and the Twins. Catch all the action on Sun Sports. This afternoon, we wrap up the longest homestand of the year, one the Rays considered to be pivotal when they opened this 11-game stand. And this afternoon, they conclude their business with the Minnesota Twins. Game 4 of this series just moments away. The homestand has propelled the Rays into first place in the American League East. In fact, they share first place right now with the New York Yankees in the East with identical records of 67 and 40. The Minnesota Twins contending in the Central. They are a game and a half back of the Chicago White Sox. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to an afternoon of Rays baseball with Kevin Kennedy, Todd Callis, and Brian Anderson. I'm Dwayne Statz. It's great to have you looking in as usual here this afternoon. Well, the Rays and the Twins played a long one last night. 13 innings, a little frustrating in a 2-1 loss for the Rays, but these two clubs had difficulty cashing in, that is, in run-scoring opportunities.
Well, David Price was throwing 97 miles an hour right out of the chute, and somehow in the second inning, Jason Repko caught up with one and hit a double to deep left center field. That would score Danny Valencia with 2 outs, and all the way to the ninth inning before the Rays would tie this up. A double drops in front of Delman Young, and then a line drive base hit for Dan Johnson, his first RBI and first hit as a Ray. That would tie the game and send it into the 13th inning. And then with the leadoff walk, Casilla gets to third base, it would score on this line drive single off a Lance Cormier curveball by Delman Young. That was it.
Cormier pitched so well in relief last night. The two teams together 2 for 24 with men in scoring position. And so this afternoon, a good pitching matchup, and the Rays will send Wade Davis. His July was the polar opposite of June.
Yeah, he really, he went through the difficulties early. He said he didn't expect to struggle in the big leagues early, but he did. But he's come back. Rookie of the month in July, 4-0 record, 3.03 earned run average, much better 242 batting average against. Some technical things, some mechanical things he worked on also. Better use of the secondary pitches, his curveball and his slider throwing for strikes. So expect big things from Wade Davis today as the Rays try to get the series from the Twins.
Wade is after his 10th win of the year, in at 9-9, and Kevin Slowey, 26-year-old right-hander on the mound for the Twins, already with 10 victories, is marked 10-5 with a 4.44 earned run average. The pitching matchup brought to you by Verizon Wireless. Homestand has been a good one for the Rays. They've gone 8-2. Coming up in just a few moments, the homestand finale. Todd Callis will have more on that in just a moment. Rays baseball right around the corner.
baseball between the Rays and the Twins, wrapping up the longest homestand since 2005. For the Rays, it's been a great stretch here against the New York Yankees, and prior to that, the Detroit Tigers, and now the Twins in town. A chance for Wade Davis and the Rays to take 3 out of 4 against Minnesota and 9 of 11 in this homestand. As you can see in our Toyota trend, the Rays only scoring 4 runs a game in this homestand, but the pitching has been outstanding. The starters, a 2.56 combined ERA, and the bullpen has been phenomenal. 2 earned runs in 23 2/3 innings. Joaquin Benoit and Rafael Soriano have been used often, and as Joe Madden tells us in the Geico quote of the game, pitching has been strong in this entire homestand.
Speaks to good pitching, both sides. We've seen a lot of good pitching between or among Detroit, the Yankees, and now with Minnesota's got a great pitching staff too. So I've often talked about you beat good pitching by out-pitching them, and we've done that. Hitting's been okay. It's been the timely hitting kind of thing. Last night it just did not want to show up. Baker was really good. Price was really good. Baker was good. Their pen was good. Our pen was good. Interesting baseball game, but we have a chance right now, to make it 9-2 on the homestand. I'll take it.
After the 5-0 no-hitter to start the homestand, every game has been 1, 2, or a 3-run differential. We'll see what happens today as the Rays take on the Minnesota Twins to wrap things up before heading on the road for 6. Dwayne Stats and Kevin Kennedy with all the action next.
Brought to you by Scott, the Money Superstore, and by Checkers, Little Place, Big Taste. Welcome to Tropicana Field for the wrap-up game of the series and the wrap-up game of this homestand. The Rays have gone 5-2 in the season series against the Minnesota Twins. They are 8-2 on this homestand. Joe Madden and Ron Gardhire's club squaring off. Here's the lineup put together by the Minnesota Twins skipper. Jason Repko leads it off in center, followed by Alexi Casilla at second and Joe Mauer, the DH. Delman Young is at left with Jason Kubel in right. Michael Kadire at first hit sixth in front of the third baseman Danny Valencia. J.J. Hardy's at shortstop, and Drew Buterra's had a good series behind the plate and at the plate. He'll do the catching and hit ninth.
Wade Davis comes in having won 4 consecutive starts, 19 starts overall. Record is 9-9 with a 4.32 earned run average, 263 batting average against. Defensively, in the outfield, Carl Crawford in left, B.J. Upton in center, and Matt Joyce out there in right. Around the infield, Evan Longoria at third base. Reed Braniak gets a start at short, Sean Rodriguez at second, and Dan Johnson back out there at first base, and Kelly Shopik behind the plate. And this defensive alignment review is brought to you by Sweet Bay. Live fresh for less.
Joe Madden looking on as Wade Davis is set to make the first pitch of the afternoon. And it's low and outside to Jason Repko. We're underway right on time here for the final game of this series. That's a strike. Repko getting the start in center field in the place of Denard Span. Span, their everyday center fielder, usually in the leadoff spot. Repko pops it up, foul ball right side. Johnson's after it, but he will run out of room, and that's about 8 or 10 rows deep behind the Rays dugout.
Yeah, Repko's a guy that played a lot of center field when he came up with the Dodgers. We saw his speed last night. He can fly, so he's very versatile. He can play left, center, or right. Good extra outfielder. Spot starter for Ron Gardenhire's Twins.
Down and away. Scooped by Kelly Shopik. It's been a nice run for Wade Davis recently to get his record back to the 500 mark at 9-9. And the count is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And a little check swing right back to the hill, and Davis makes the play. Jason Repko is out of there with a comebacker to Wade Davis.
A little check swing on what would have been ball 4. And that's a nice out to start this game because Repko can out and out fly. He would definitely be stealing bases.
Here's Alexi Casilla. Batting .256 on the year. Lines it. That's going to be a fair ball past Johnson and up the right field line. Joyce makes the pickup, and Casilla has himself a double. Casilla's second double of the year, line fair. By first and up the right side.
Yeah, look, this looked like a cutter. Well, had some movement, 84 miles an hour. They're trying to go back door. I think it was a cutter that he missed location and badly. Middle in, and Casilla turned on it. Flat, up, and he turned on it.
Wade coming off the outing he had on Friday against the Yankees. And he pitched 7 innings, gave up 2 runs, and made 115 pitches en route to a 3-2 victory. First pitch to Joe Mauer. He gets a called strike. Mauer is the 8th leading hitter in the American League at .317. 6 home runs and 56 runs batted in. Fly ball back to right field. Joyce on the run. That ball's got some carry. Will be off the wall. Casilla's going to score, and Mauer is into second base with a double to give Minnesota an early lead. Well, Mauer drives in his 57th run. That's his 35th double. He continues to pound Rays pitching.
Yeah, he really does. Look like a couple of changeups. You see how high this pitch is. Up in his zone right here. 88 miles an hour. Mauer, I think, thought he might have hit that one out.
Here's Delman Young. Fouls it back. That's a strike. And to this point, we have not seen that 90-plus velocity from Wade Davis.
Yeah, you're right. It's hard to tell. I mean, that last pitch looked like an off-speed pitch, but I think it was his fastball, but only 88 miles an hour, and he was trying to go inside, and he missed up. That's unlike Wade Davis. He gets it up there about 94.
Oh, on the count on Young. And there's a shot back toward the corner. A breaking ball off the bottom of the wall. Mauer's going to score. And into second base goes Delman Young. And Delman was hobbling a little bit. That's 3 consecutive doubles given up by Davis. And the Twins take a 2-0 lead. And Jim Hickey's going to head to the mound.
Take a look at this curveball right here. This one was flat, hanging right up there. And Delman jumps on it. See the side shot, belled high curveball. And he lines it sharply into the corner in left field, hit the base of the wall. Carl gets it back in nicely.
You see, Delman, he either ran into an invisible force field or he had a little problem there physically.
I think he said, "Where's that ball going? It's coming right at me." I think he was trying to avoid the throw. He's not sure who that ball was going to, but he knew it wasn't going to be at him.
Jason Kubel, he fouls it back. That's a strike. And that fastball is about 89 or 90.
Yeah.
So we're not seeing the same free and easy velocity from Wade Davis that you have come to expect.
Makes you wonder how he warmed up down there, how he felt in the bullpen.
The pitch is up and in. 1-1.
I mean, so much so that I thought he threw a couple changeups in there.
I'll tell you,
they were fastballs.
He looks to me like it's a labor for him to deliver the fastball. And he misses outside with a pinch.
Well, even on Repco, he was falling off to the left side. He didn't have that free and easy fluid delivery that he's had these last 4 starts. At least not yet. Hopefully he gets it together.
And he picks up a strike. 2-2. That was a fastball. Depending on the gun, the ballpark gun has 89 and ours has 90. You know, and it could be a function of just not quite getting as loose right now as he'd like to be.
Well, 12-10 start, a little different too.
Shift on for Kubel. Fouls one back.
Well, any starter will tell you too that the toughest inning to get going is the first inning. You know, sometimes starters don't get that good fastball until 4 or 5 hitters in. All of a sudden they get a good lather going, get limbered up pretty good, and all of a sudden you see 93.
And a liner toward left center field. That's in there for a base hit. Delman Young will score. 4 consecutive hits given up. Kubel hit a changeup the other way. And the Twins have 3 runs home in the first.
I just don't see the crispness of his stuff. And the differential between the off-speed and secondary pitches and his fastball is not enough. Ball's off the outside corner. Kubel just stays on it, does a nice piece of hitting, goes the other way with it.
Well, it's Michael Kadire. And a base hit up the middle off a fastball. Kubel stops at second base. And he is not he's not nearly as comfortable as we have seen him. And the results to this point show that.
Well, here's the problem today. You had a 13-inning game last night, and you used Lance Cormier, your long man, for 4 innings, so he can't pitch today. So the last thing you want to do is start thinking about the bullpen. You've really got nobody to get up down there. So Wade has to kind of suck it up as long as he's not hurting and try to get through some innings here.
Danny Valencia. And that's a strike. They got Repko. Since then, Casilla, Mauer, and Young all doubled. Kubel and Kadire have base hits. And Valencia tried to check and could not on a slider. 0-2.
The other thing is, Dwayne, Andy Sonnenstein is your other long man is on the DL.
Yep. So the Rays with Pena day to day and the need for another position player, the bullpen's one man shorter than it has been most of the year. Swing and a miss, and Valencia is out on strikes as Wade got that slider in play for a strikeout.
We have seen that with Valencia in this series. That does have a little trouble with the slider, and we've seen a couple strikeouts on overhand curveballs. So you start getting an early scouting report of Danny Valencia. Pretty good fastball hitter, but the secondary pitches have gotten him out in this series.
Now it's J.J. Hardy. And a ground ball that's headed up the middle on a fastball. Here comes Kubel to the plate. The throw will not be in time. Kadire stops at second, and Hardy on the fastball singles in a run. So 8 men have come to the plate, and the Twins have scored 4 in the first.
And they come out swinging early. First ball hit and looking for that fastball, and the fastball just doesn't have much on it. You might have to stay with that slider until you get your lather going and get a good rhythm and see if you can get some velocity and some command of that fastball. It says 17 strikes, but those are counting the base hits. Base hits count as strikes.
Yep. Here's Drew Butera. Butera, the number 9 hitter. And a bounder foul outside of third. Well, they're after that fastball. It's 88, 89, maybe 90, and not a lot of life on it right now.
Well, Kelly Shopik is a catcher that likes to call a lot of fastballs early to get the fastball command, and I think the Twins know that. I think you scout the pitcher and the catcher equally. You can tell by the way guys call a game. So you got to start mixing it up more.
And he did not offer slider that time. It's 1-1. And a pop-up right side foul. Might be playable for Johnson near the dugout, and he's got it. Right on the railing. Dan Johnson takes care of Butera. The Twins send 9 men to the plate. They score 4 on 6 hits, and they leave 1 man. 4-0 with the Rays coming in to hit. H. Gregg. Well, the Rays start from a deficit. 4-0 in this one. Sean Rodriguez leads off, followed by Carl Crawford and Evan Longoria. Ibar, Joyce, and Johnson down the middle. Upton, Brignac, and Shopping. 7, 8, and 9. All of that against Kevin Slowey, the right-hander. Sean Rodriguez hitting .255. 1-0 the count. Sean, not the quintessential leadoff man, as you see the numbers on Slowey.
Got 10 wins.
The pitch is popped up. Shallow left center. Hardy's out from shortstop. And he's got that one.
Well, behind Kevin Slowey defensively around the outfield left to right, Delman Young, Jason Repko, and Jason Kubel. Around the infield left to right, Danny Valencia, J.J. Hardy, Alexi Casilla, and Michael Kadire. And behind the plate is Drew Butera. And this defensive review is brought to you by Sweet Bay. Live fresh for less.
Strike one to Carl Crawford. 1-1 now. The ball, 2 strikes. Carl, 29 years old today. Two and 2.
Well, happy birthday, Carl. Have a big day.
Fouls one away from Slowey.
Slowey likes to get right on that mound and work fast, doesn't he?
He does indeed. And a breaking ball strikes out Crawford. He got him with a curve. 2 up, 2 down.
Slowey's not unlike what we saw last night with Baker. Just mix and match, sliders, sinkers, fastballs, and that was a curveball for strike 3 swinging.
And it will bring up Evan Longoria with the bases empty and 2 outs. The pitch is a strike. Now, Slowey likes to make a pitch as soon as he gets the ball back from the catcher. There's a little foul ball, and so he betrays his surname in terms of pitching. He's anything but Slowey.
So it should be Fasty?
Yeah.
Does that work?
Yes. Kevin Quickly or something like that would be more appropriate. The pitch is high. It's 1-2.
You would think it's getaway day or something the way he's
You would,
pitching.
yes.
Oh, it is.
2 balls and 2 strikes.
You know the infielders love that. The defense loves a guy that works fast.
It's easier to stay involved in a game if you're playing behind a guy like this. That pitch running away with the slider strikes out Longoria. 4-0 at the end of 1, Minnesota. Out of the second inning, 4-0 Minnesota. Don't miss your last chance for 2010 Rays season tickets. Guarantee yourself postseason opportunities and other great benefits. Visit RaysBaseball.com or call 888-FAN-RAYS today. Well, a difficult first inning for Wade Davis, and here's the top of the order, Jason Repko, to lead off the second. We'll see how this goes. A breaking ball to start Repko. 1 ball and no strikes, and Wade made 25 pitches in that first inning, and they did not appear to be comfortable pitches at all. There's a high pop fly into center field, and Upton is there to make the catch, and that was off a fastball at 87. And Kevin, he just seems to me to be a pitcher who's just not very comfortable out there right now, and I think that's from a physical point of view.
Well, he's guiding the ball, that's for sure. I mean, he doesn't throw 87, 88. He's at 93, 94, sometimes 95. This is a fastball right here. Now, the delivery is fine, but there's just not a lot on the ball. That's 86. That's not Wade Davis.
Garcia takes a strike, and I'll tell you, you just get the feeling that he is gutting this one out from the first pitch.
Well, look at that last pitch right there. I mean, you're right. He's working very slow. He's just trying to get through it, and he knows he's got to go deep today.
And a foul ball, and that's something that the opposition, we can talk about this openly, because the opposition immediately picks up on that.
Yes,
they know
do.
that, and the Twins jumped on him for 4 runs there in the first inning.
Well, you know what the first hitter does. Jason Repko saw 6 pitches. He goes back and tells the rest of the guys what he's seeing today. That's what a leadoff guy's job is at the top of the game.
Foul ball back, and so the count squares.
It doesn't mean that Wade can't get through some innings. It just looks, those of us that know him, he looks different today.
Yeah, sure does.
And the stuff definitely is not the same.
2-2 is skied to center. Upton is there, and he makes the catch on this one. So 2 outs. And you know, here's the other thing about pitching in the big leagues that I think a lot of people lose sight of. Pitchers go to the mound hurting all the time.
You bet.
That's part of the challenge of getting through a season. And you know, when you see a pitcher out there and sometimes not able to make the pitch that he normally makes, there's a lot of physical challenges that go into that, and discomfort. 1-0 the count to Joe Mauer, and you really get the feeling that this is one of those days for Wade Davis.
Well, we could back up to Jeremy Hellickson and say, well, he came up for a spot start. Well, what did Joe Madden say? He said, I wanted the guys to have an extra day's rest.
Yeah.
We're getting into August here.
Yep.
A lot of people say, well, you going to a 6-man rotation? No. He's coming up for 1 start, going back down.
And a 1 hopper out to second. Rodriguez has it, and a throw to first in time, and he still has yet to break 90. Bottom of the second coming, 4-0.
on as his team comes to bat. The Rays and the Twins wrapping up this homestand. The Yankees have the day off today. They will begin a 4-game series with the Red Sox tomorrow, which leads us to our Auto-Way text poll question of the day. What do you want to see happen as a Rays fan? TB1 for the Yankees to sweep the 4-game series. TB2 for the Red Sox to sweep the 4-game series. TB3 for a split of the 4-game series. TB4 for the Yankees win 3 out of 4. And TB5 for the Red Sox winning 3 out of 4. Text your vote to 789-789, guys.
Willie Ibar taps the second pitch of the inning down to the second baseman, Casilla. He had him, Slowey that is, had him reaching for a changeup. And Ibar is out number 1. Willie back in that cleanup spot today behind Longoria.
Yeah, Matt Joyce, I think, presents a nice presence behind Longoria, but Joe Madden puts Willie right back out there in a 4 spot, and Matt has hit well in the 5 spot. He's had a great homestand.
Matt with 20 runs batted in, a dozen on the homestand. He takes the pitch inside. 5 home runs for Joyce. He looks at a strike. 1-1.
Good movement right there. Good 2-seam action fading away from Matt.
In the dirt. That's a 2-1 count on the breaking ball. Slowey not overpowering, but he will get some pretty good movement on that fastball, and he doesn't walk many people. That's the Minnesota Twins pitching mantra. Don't give up any walks.
Yeah, only 21 walks in 119 and 2/3 innings coming into this game for Slowey.
3-1. Now it's full. One out, bases empty. Joyce lifts it into shallow left. Young is coming in, still coming, and he makes the catch, and he was uncertain. He's had some problems defensively in this series and wasn't real certain on that one.
No, he wasn't, and Hardy could have made the play. I mean, it is the outfielder priority. It's in that triangle between left center and the shortstop. And Delman, I think, thought Hardy was going to take it, and then Hardy stopped on it, and then Delman sped up again. See him right there. Take a quick peek at Hardy. Now he speeds up again and makes the play. So, miscommunication for sure.
Dan Johnson up here. 1 ball, no strikes. Slowey started him with an off-speed pitch. High with a fastball, 2-0.
You know, and as an infielder, you're supposed to go out until you hear the outfielder call you off, and I didn't see any lips moving there from Delman Young.
A 2-1 count.
You know, and by rights, that ball Longoria hit that looped in there, I mean, Delman Young should have had that last night in the 9th inning.
2-2 count. And I'm sure he would tell you that. You know, I thought the conversation Todd Callis had with Delman Young on the pregame last night shows a lot of maturity in Delman Young. Change up and a pop up, maybe a breaking ball. Johnson is out. 1-2-3 go the Rays. Your life. Turn to the St. Petersburg Times, winner of 2 2009 Pulitzer Prizes for excellence in journalism. Subscribe to the Times, the official newspaper of the Rays, by calling 877 The Times or visiting TampaBay.com. Here is Delman Young, who leads off the third. First pitch, a curveball that stayed inside. Young, Kubel, and Kadire. And Young has just been on fire. He lifts one into short center. Upton is there. One away. Jason Kubel on his way to the plate. Wade Davis coming off his last start when he beat Phil Hughes and the Yankees 3-2. That was Friday. And he worked 7 innings in that game.
Looking back at my scorebook from his last start against the Yankees, and he threw 93 to the first hitter, Derek Jeter.
Yep. I mean, that's more like him.
And he maintained 92 into the 7th inning. Struck out Curtis Granderson in the 7th inning with a 92 fastball. So he had plenty of 92s and 93s. It's just not the same fastball. As long as he's okay, hey, you can. As long as you make pitches and change speeds, he'll be fine. But
pitchers will tell you, both starters and relievers, that as we alluded to earlier, there are going to be times when that arm, either the shoulder or the elbow, will bark at you a little bit. There's a fastball at 91.
Yeah. You don't always have your best stuff every 5 days. I think a lot of starters will tell you, if I have my good stuff 3 out of 5 starts, that's pretty good.
Ground ball. Brignac on the first base side of second out of the shift takes care of that. So technically 6-3. Rays and Evan Longoria competing with other MLB teams for a $200,000 Pepsi Refresh grant. The idea is to work with Moffitt Cancer Center to promote cancer awareness and provide education to kids about making healthy choices. You can vote for the Rays idea now at MLB.com/Pepsi Refresh or text Rays to 76462. Michael Kadire in the batter's box. A ball, no strikes. Two and 0.
You know, it's not so much the velocity, Dwayne. For me, it's the crispness of the pitches.
Yep.
In the release and the delivery and the fluidity. That's what I look at.
And a fly ball back to right field. Joyce is there, a step from the track. So Kadire's out of there. Bottom of the third coming, 4-0 Minnesota. All season long. Tires Plus donates $100 to the Pediatric Cancer Foundation for every Tampa Bay Rays home run televised on Sun Sports and Fox Sports Florida. It will be B.J. Upton to lead off the home half of inning 3, followed by Reed Brignac and then Kelly Shopping. Kevin Slowey, the 26-year-old right-hander, making his 22nd start of the year, has retired the first 6 to face him, and he starts Upton with a ball strike, a fastball.
Slowey. He's pitching like he's going to miss the charter today.
I'm telling you.
It'll wait for you.
There's a strike, and it's 1-2. Slowey, born in Conroe, Texas. He spent his time growing up in the Pittsburgh area. Went to Upper St. Clair High School and wound up at Winthrop University. Pitch is down, 3-2. He majored in international business, and he pitched while he was in college, and he's pitching like he's got a very important business meeting pending. And that strike 3 call. Upton is out of there. Upton caught looking his first time up. That's a strike all day long.
Yeah, sure is. Too close to take again. Might have been off the corner in, as Foxtrack says, but it's too close to take.
Well, maybe it's not a strike all day long. Foxtrack said it's inside. So BJ was right. Here's Brignac. 1 ball, no strikes, but there is something about taking pitches around the plate.
Well, you know, that double that Evan hit last night in the 9th inning, that ball was about 6-7 inches inside, and he just got inside it and dropped it into left field. And it's not always going to be put on a platter for you.
1-1 here, the count now to Reed Brignac.
It's Chris Guccione behind the plate.
Well, and here's the thing about taking pitches against Slowey. He's always around the plate, and he doesn't give up many walks. So you figure if it's close, it's got a pretty good chance to be a strike. So you just have to figure the percentages there.
Well, the inside corner. I mean, BJ was right. That ball was definitely inside. There's no question about it. In the inside corner, with the umpire's eyes sight right over the corner, you think of all pitches, he's going to get that one right. But he opened up the zone there.
And Brignac lifts the fly ball for Repko in center. 8 straight retired by Slowey.
Maybe Guccione has to catch that charter too.
Yeah.
You know. Is there a record for most pitches per minute?
Yeah.
Because I think
that's what we need stopwatches for. We're not going to time, a runner or pitcher's delivery.
I was wondering why Joe Vavra and Ron Gardner and every coach in that dugout.
That's it.
Had the stopwatches. Not today.
Kelly Shopping checks, and the pitch is down. Shopping has more at-bats against Slowey than any other Ray hitter, and that's because he played in the Central Division. He's 3 for 13, and 2 of those hits are home runs off Slowey. And it's a strike. He checked with the plate umpire, and they're correcting the scoreboard. So now it's a 1 ball, 1 strike count. I'll tell you, unless you step out as a hitter, Slowey's going to give you a next pitch almost as soon as he gets the ball back from Butera.
We're timing this. Our producer, Kevin Patterson, just told me the time he releases it, he's already ready in 4 seconds for the next pitch. So.
Oh, a wave and a miss at that big breaking ball. So 9 straight retired by Slowey to start this contest. We're through 3, 4-0 Minnesota. AT&T. Find out what's possible with the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T. Rethink possible. And by your Greater Tampa Bay Buick and GMC dealers. Andy Valencia in the batter's box, and the first pitch is a fastball. Missing, 1 ball, no strikes, and that one at 86. An opening fastball here in the 4th. 2-0. You know, as quickly as really Davis is pitching quickly too, but Slowey is just he can't wait to make a pitch. We're in the 4th inning already. The fly ball lifted into left. Crawford backing up, and he's got it. Time now for our AT&T trivia question here in the top of the 4th. By the way, who was the MVP of the World Series in 1987? That's our AT&T trivia question. The Minnesota Twins happened to be in that one. There's a breaking ball to Hardy. Breaking ball there to strike. I was going to say, these two pitchers are pitching so quickly. The White Sox and the Tigers have an afternoon game as well. There's a fly ball left center, and Upton is there. BJ makes the catch. 2 gone. That's supposed to be a 105 start, and I was thinking this game might be over by the time the White Sox and the Tigers start their game at 105. Now, it's not quite going to be that dramatic, but you know, we could be 2 outs here in the 4th. We could be halfway finished by the time they start the other afternoon game.
Well, maybe Kevin Slowey wanted to see some of that game because, you know, the Tigers and the White Sox, those are of importance to the Twins.
Yeah, there you are.
The Tigers.
And the first pitch strike to Butera.
The White Sox have a 1.5 game lead over Minnesota, so, you know, they want to do some scouting.
And a curveball for a strike. 0-2 now. Down and away. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Well, Davis had a long first inning. And he's had a couple of low pitch count innings, and he strikes out Butera. So it's a 1-2-3 frame. We go to the bottom of the 4th. 4-0 Twins. Deficit as we look at the AT&T trivia question, looking for the answer. The 1987 World Series MVP. Hey, there he is, the old lefty, and he's over there joining Bert Blyleven. We saw Frank earlier today. Here's Rodriguez going for the first pitch, and there's a base hit. Repko makes the pickup, and the Rays have their first base runner.
Frank Viola had that great changeup. Very good pitcher. Good start for the Rays here in the 4th. Got to get a couple back here. Down 4-zip.
Well, there's Carl Crawford. Slowey had retired the first 9 to face him. By the way, Davis has retired the last 10 to face him after that tough first inning. Crawford takes a pitch for a ball.
Well, and Davis is doing it with a lot of secondary pitches, his curve and his slider. I think he's gotten this one out today.
And a fly ball toward the left field corner. Young after this one, and he makes the catch. Tagged by Rodriguez. He's headed to second, and he is safe, and he gets back to the bag. He slid away from the bag and around it. Casilla went back to put the tag on him. And Rodriguez is safely in. Ron Gardner is out there to argue the call. Did he get him?
Tough to tell from that angle. Jerry Crawford right on top of it, and Sean gets back. Here's the overhead shot. Love this shot. Well, tough to tell, but Jerry's right on top. You see where Jerry Crawford is. I mean, he's right there. And here's the other angle.
He missed him.
No, he missed him. He's in there. Well, Jerry has great angle right there. So, and he's 4 feet from the play. He called it right, and Sean got back to the bag after he overslid it. Dangerous play by Sean, but that's the way the Rays play.
The crew chief, Jerry Crawford, got it right. Now it's Evan Longoria. Evan struck out on a slider from Slowey his first time. Gives him a breaking ball this time, and it's popped back into center field. Repko's there to make the catch. Rodriguez stays put at second. So 2 outs.
You know, Delman Young had presence of mind, too, to come up throwing.
Yes, he did.
He anticipated that Sean would tag.
Well, Young has had a good arm from the time he came up with the Rays. And he played, actually, he spent some time in all 3 outfield spots, played mostly right when he was here and some at center. But as left fielders go, that's a good arm.
Yeah, that was a good throw. Just a little bit wide, but a good effort.
Willie Ibar takes a pitch outside, a changeup. Line drive foul back to first. It's 1-1. Well, the Rays a little pitching thin after last night's extra inning game. Wade Davis has recouped here, recovered to give them 4 innings so far, and now they're trying to get to Slowey in the bottom of the 4th, trying to cut into this deficit.
And by the way, Wade Davis had 115 pitches in his last start. That was his highest pitch count game of the year, if you like to go by that.
3-1. Foul out of play. So the count full on Ibar. It's the first scoring opportunity the Rays have had. The only base runner they've had. And Ibar's out on strikes. Fastball up and away from him. Got him, and the Rays leave a man. We go to the 5th. 4-0 Minnesota. upcoming Rays schedule brought to you by Just for Men Hair Color. Rays wrapping up the homestand, moving on to Toronto and Detroit. They'll be back here on the 13th against Baltimore. As we look forward to the upcoming Rays schedule, you can live forward with Just for Men Hair Color. First pitch of the 5th inning to Jason Repko is a called strike. The shot back into left field, pretty well hit, and that ball's going to get out of here. Breaking ball, and Repko hits his 3rd home run of the year. That will make it a 5-0 game. Well, Davis had a little stretch of 10 in a row, retired, and Repko hits the breaking ball out.
This curveball hanging right there for him, flat. Jason's all over it. See this from the side shot. Belt high. He gets right through it.
It's the Amscott replay. Breaking ball to start Casilla, and that's in there for a strike. More and more, you get the feel that Wade Davis is truly just gutting this one out. Now a bunt by Casilla, and the throw to first is not in time. So Casilla puts down a bunt single, his 2nd hit, and the 8th hit of the ball game for Minnesota.
Yeah, I think that's the word. I think he's just gutting it out. Joe Madden is hoping he can get, at least through 6 innings. Got no outs here in the 5th, though.
Joe Mauer steps in. Mauer takes a pitch inside. I'll tell you, one of the things you really have to like about Wade Davis, he's not going to give you anything but facial expression. When things are going great, he's the same. And things aren't going that well today, and he's the same. He will not give that to you.
Nope,
and as a competitor, you have to respect that. Runner takes off. The pitch is low, and the throw is high. It's a stolen base for Casilla, his 2nd of the year.
Yeah, he won't make excuses either, Wade Davis. His demeanor is pretty much always the same. High throw. You see Kelly standing straight up and falling off to the left. When you do that, you're going to see a high throw like you just did. He got on top of it too much. His head leaning to the left side.
Now they're going to walk Mauer intentionally with first base open. And they'll put him on here with Delman Young up there, and look for a ground ball out of Delman Young. And Jim Hickey's going to head to the mound.
I think this is not really about strategy. I think he wants to see how he's feeling. Although Jim Hickey's doing all the talking right there, and Wade Davis is doing all the nodding.
So they break up the conference there with Delman Young about to step in.
Well, Wade Davis knows there's no help behind him in this game early. I mean, we're in the 5th, but I think that was a little bit of what Hickey was saying. Hey, just gut this out, man. Do the best you can. Just try to minimize a big inning here.
The pitch is foul, out of play. And they'd like to minimize his pitch count as well, as you alluded there. He's up to 63 pitches here, pitching in the 5th.
And really pretty efficient since that 25-pitch first inning.
This one knocked down by blocked by Shopping.
Yeah, I mean, he's not finishing off. I mean, he's falling off the left side. I mean, he's just, you can just tell by, most people probably can't tell by his body language, but
tell you, to me, it was pretty evident the first couple pitches you saw him throw, and you know sometimes it'll take a pitcher a few pitches to get in to their normal flow and all that, but it just didn't seem to develop there with Wade, and so right away there was the suspicion that maybe he wasn't as comfortable physically out there as he normally is.
And here's a fastball. Here's that last pitch landing on the ball of foot. That's good. He gets over the front leg. And his best fastball of the day.
This one is lifted into center field. Upton makes the catch, and the runners will hold. One away. Right there, you can look at that face. I'll tell you, you're not going to get anything there.
Nope.
Which is really great. You got to like this kid. He's a great competitor, and I think we're seeing it today, even though he's down 5 runs.
Well, he went out and beat the Yankees, and he gave up a first-inning home run to Nick Swisher, and that was it. 2-run home run, and he put up 6 zeros after that. And Matt Joyce hit the 3-run home run to beat Phil Hughes and the Yankees.
Jason Kubel, he takes a pitch inside. Not that Davis needs to do this, but this is the kind of game, given the situation the Rays are in, where you build up a lot of capital with your teammates and with your manager and pitching coach and the staff.
You got that right.
Doing what he's doing today. That's a strike. The count is 1-1.
And actually, you know, he's thrown a couple of his best fastballs in this inning, 91, 92, as far as velocity, and a little bit more crisp.
And I'm going to guess after the game, of course, you know, there are going to be questions directed to him, and you would have to believe that some of those questions, a foul ball, third base side, and Longoria makes the catch. Wow, what a grab. Evan Longoria is sliding into that low sidewall there near the stands.
Wow.
And he grabs that one for out number 2. So Evan, as usual, giving it his all.
Yeah, we're used to seeing 3 or 4 great defensive plays a game, and there's the first one. And you know, it was impressive too, watching that live. Aside from Evan making that play up against the wall right there, 3 guys covered third base, both middle infielders and Wade Davis, in case of a tag up at second. That was impressive too. Everybody was alert.
Here's Kadire and a ground ball to third. Longoria takes it to second out there, and they limit the damage to the 1 run. We go to the bottom of the 5th, 5-0 Minnesota. Drink options. Call 888-FAN-RAYS or go to RaysBaseball.com for information. 5-0 game now as we go to the bottom of the fifth. And here's Matt Joyce. He goes after the first pitch and fouls the fastball back, strike one. Joyce, Johnson, and then Upton due up here against Kevin Slowey, who is anything but that. The pitch is down. 1-1.
Well, it's time to get a couple back. Get back in
it
his
could
game.
still be a game then.
Yep.
There's a strike.
It was a nice job by Wade Davis to keep the inning just at that one home run by Repko. That could have been a real ugly inning.
2 balls, 2 strikes the count. Yeah, we're talking about Davis before Longoria made that great play on that little foul pop. 2-2 to Joyce, and he is out on strikes. A foul-tipped strikeout. That's number 6 for Slowey. I would wager that when Davis is asked about this after the game, and physically if he was all right, he will not say a word about not being 100% physically.
Right.
If that's the case. We don't know that's the case. But I just don't think that they'll get those quotes out of him.
I just think, having been a catcher all my life, there's some guys.
And the 0-1 pitch is lifted back into deep right, but Kubal's going to have room. 2 gone.
There's some guys in some starts that you can't get loose. And that doesn't mean there's a difference between, something really wrong and just, hey, one of those days where you just can't, you got the dead arm or can't get loose and you got it out. You just got it out to get through it. So it doesn't mean he's actually hurt. It's just, but it's clear to you and I and those that, again, that have seen a lot of him that
Upton takes a strike.
The stuff isn't the same today, but it's a gutsy performance what he's doing. That's just the way I see it. And you.
BJ fouls it out of play. Well, it's not often when the club's down 5-0. I think you feel this good about the starting pitcher and what he's done, but you've got to give him credit on a day like today when you go out there and you obviously don't have your best stuff, and it would appear that he doesn't feel all that good. There's a base hit past Casilla, diving to his right as Upton rolls one through the infield. Hit number 2 for the Rays off Slowey.
It's funny because when I first signed professionally back in 1976, I was a catcher coming out of college where you catch 70 games, but you play 4 games a week. You play maybe on a Tuesday and a Friday and a Saturday doubleheader. So you'd have to, but when you play pro ball, you're in the minor leagues, you're playing every day. There's no off days, maybe one.
Brignac takes a strike.
And my first manager said, "Let me just tell you something, son. You will never feel 100% again. So if you have to feel 100% to play this game, you're in the wrong business."
Yeah, that's true.
And about 21 straight games I caught, I went into his office. I said, "You know what, Skip? I don't feel 100%, but I'm playing today." You're right. You know what? It's true. Some days you feel good, but you never feel like you did as an amateur.
And I think that's especially true of pitchers and catchers, and other position players. You have balls that a ball you might foul off your shin or your foot, foul ball, things like that.
And that's what I'm talking about. Things like that, nicks and bumps and bruises and shins bothering you. But look at Joe Mauer, for example. People that saw that All-Star game, they watched Joe Mauer throw that ball into center field on the stolen base, and you go, "Whoa." Well, I can tell you what that throw was as a catcher, because that's a throw where, you know what, my arm's barking, I can't feel the release point, I'm going to let it fly, and I hope it's over the bag. Yeah. And it missed by about 20 feet.
There goes Upton with a pretty good jump, and he is out. Boy, that was quite a throw by Butera. Upton got a pretty good jump on Slowey and is thrown out trying to steal to retire the side.
Right on the bag, and that's the reason he was able to get BJ out. He slid right into the tag.
With Danny Valencia leading off, we are joined by Frank Viola, World Series MVP, AL Cy Young Award winner for the Minnesota Twins. Frank, great to have you here. First of all, tell us about turning into a coach now. You've got a little game coming up after the Rays game.
We do. Second year in a row that I've been fortunate enough to be able to come here after a Rays game and be part of this. But it's the Florida Collegiate Summer League, which is a similar type of summer wood bat league that the Cape Cod is, and the Alaskan League, so on and so forth. The thing is, the accumulation of the whole season comes to a championship game, which is played here at the Trop after the game today, which is really, really special to watch the boys, some of which are swinging a wood bat for the first time, but also just for the opportunity to know that they're coming to a big league ballpark for the championship. So it's really a great thing that the Tampa Bay Rays are giving these kids as far as an opportunity goes.
Valencia flies out to right for the first out. Now, you played in an Alaska League, the summer league for wood bats. Really a big transition for a lot of these kids, isn't it?
No question, especially the hitters. Going from aluminum to wood, you don't think it's that drastic of a difference, but it's major. And I think it's also positive for the pitchers because in college with the aluminum, you tend to pitch away from contact. When you come here and you tell these pitchers, don't be afraid to pitch to contact, all of a sudden they're a different type of pitcher. Hopefully they carry that into their college season.
J.J. Hardy with a ground rule double into the line wedge down there at the Corona Beach Bar, so he's a one-out base runner at second base. And Frank, when you look at these two teams, obviously pitching is the key for both of them. That has to make you feel pretty proud to watch these two go at it.
I'll tell you, just the teams themselves. I mean, you watch Tampa Bay. First of all, I'm just so impressed at a 12 o'clock game to see the stands. Like it's about time. It's nice to see being a Central Florida native myself, and seeing how successful this organization has been. But the name of the game is pitching, and I'll tell you a little secret. Both Slowey and Wade Davis are on my fantasy team. I got them in my lineup today, so Wade's let me down a little bit.
Yeah, you had a tough top of the first inning. What about watching Price? You were a lefty and watching a lefty with that easy 95.
It's scary because when he first got up here and working with Bright House, I said that David Price, I wasn't sure if he was going to be successful as a starting pitcher because I didn't think he had that third pitch to get him by. Well, I've swallowed my foot, both my feet. The kid has shown that he is exactly right. He's pure, he's easy, the ball jumps on you, and he's just a great pitcher, only going to get better.
Drew Butera with a ball into the gap in left center field. That will score Hardy, and Butera is going to stop at second with an RBI double, so the Twins now lead it by the score of 6-0. So final thing, we've got you here coaching the championship game of the Florida Summer Wood Bat League. Coaching may be something in your future, too, at a different level, huh?
I'm hoping, yeah. 28 years later, I'm going back to get my last 33 credits to graduate. I have 15 credits to go starting September. Hopefully, I'll graduate by June of next year. I really would like to take it to the next step and possibly coach at the collegiate level. So we'll see how that plays out.
Great to see you around here again. We saw you up in Minnesota when the Rays played the Twins for the 4th of July weekend. Frank Viola, guys, he's coaching his team in the championship game right after this one. Back to you.
All right, thank you. Always great to see Frank. The pitch is a fastball to Repko. There's a strike. And how about that, going back to finish his degree?
That's impressive.
With an eye toward coaching.
Yeah, he has passion for the game and teaching. That's awesome.
Ground ball down to third. Longoria's throw to first takes care of Repko. 2 away. A couple of doubles here in this inning by Hardy and Butera. And the Twins have another run. Alex Casilla coming up there now. Casilla with a double and a bunt single in 3 official at bats. The strike. The Rays wrapping up the homestand, and they'll be headed to Toronto. Night game tomorrow, and Matt Garza will open that series against Brett Cecil. Ground ball shortstop. Rimyak's throw to first in time. A run, 2 hits. We go to the bottom of the 6th. 6-0 Minnesota. Grignac, who was at the plate when Upton was caught stealing in the 5th, will lead off the home half of the 6th. Grignac, Shopik, and Rodriguez. And Slowey pumps in another strike. Oh, he throws a lot of those. A little Tapper foul. 2 strikes. So Randy Choate has started to loosen a little bit in the bullpen now for the Rays.
Well, I think
Grignac's out on strikes. Fastball. Sure and stop in at your local Hess Express, and while you're there, grab the 2010 Rays Pocket Schedule, because it includes a $5 off coupon for a pair of lower level tickets to see the Rays on Saturday nights. Kelly Shopik.
I think, Dwayne, that Wade Davis has given Joe Madden everything he'd hoped today as far as innings.
Yeah, you know what? He's a little over 80 pitches, and after that 25-pitch first inning, he has really he's had to grind it out today and to get 6 after that first inning. The odds were that it was going to be problematic to get this deep.
And again, for people that maybe just tuning in or don't know, I mean, why is Wade Davis still out there? Well, the game went 13 innings last night. Cormier, who hadn't pitched in 2 weeks, went 4 very good innings. And Andy Sonnenstein, their long man, is on the disabled list. And as you said earlier, the Rays are 1 short out of the bullpen. So it's one of those games where the starting pitcher just has to bite the bullet and give him as many innings as he possibly can. Not that you're not trying to win, you are. But you can't sacrifice the whole bullpen in the first inning.
A ball, 2 strikes to Shopik.
So again, I give a lot of praise, like you do, to Wade Davis.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's not an easy thing what he's done. And Shopik here, frustrated, strikes out.
Good slider right there. Don't hurt yourself.
Back-to-back strikeouts. And the 6th.
That's big league wood. It didn't snap.
Yeah, that's better than a lot of the bats we've seen.
Mine would snap when I swung the bat.
John Rodriguez is hit by a pitch. So Rodriguez hit on the first pitch here of this at bat.
Number 13, Carl.
He goes to first with 2 outs. That is Carl Crawford. Carl's 29th birthday today. Ouch. A foul ball, and Butera gets a piece of that.
Yeah, he got bit. He's going to take his own time here. Got to walk this one off. You know,
So Carl looking for his first hit here on his birthday as we flash back. Carl Crawford, 29 today, and we look at the Cabot Wood State's legendary performance. Carl's first big league hit. That came on the 20th of July, 2002 in Toronto. He drove in a couple of runs with that base hit off Brian Bowles. Fouls this one out of play.
interference.
And that's happened a couple other times this year. And Butera, a little squawk going here with Guccione over that.
Tell you what, you're a blast away from getting back in a game right here. And Carl's done that actually several times this year. Right there, yeah, you could see it off the catcher's glove and the ball. Butera, no, I didn't hit the glove.
So that's catcher's interference. No at bat for Crawford and an error charged to Butera. The Rays have 2 men on with 2 men out. And here's Longoria. Well, you never know. The pitch inside, 1-0.
As long as you got a bat in your hand and innings to go and outs to play with, the Rays have come back as many times as anybody in baseball.
And Longoria pops it up. Garcia at second, making the call on the catch to retire the side. No runs, an error, 2 left. Through 6-0. And stop in at any Bay Area Beef O'Brady's restaurant. And when you're there, sign up your mom to win a Rays VIP fan pack. It consists of a meet and greet with a Rays player, a Rays jersey, tickets, field passes, and a $100 gift card to Beef's. Deadline to enter is coming up. That's August 15th. We'll see you at Beef's. Randy Choate's going to be the new pitcher for the Rays. So 6 innings for Wade Davis. And now Choate.
55 appearances now for Randy Choate. About a strikeout an inning and 26 1/3.
And Mauer takes the first pitch. He's doubled home a run. That was in the first and scored. Counted out his second time up, and the Rays intentionally walked him in the 5th inning. 0-2. Choate pitched a third of an inning in last night's 13-inning game. And Mauer strikes out.
Nasty slider right there. Some good tilt, good depth on this one. Starts out low and fades away from Joe Mauer.
Here's Delman Young. Down and in, 1 ball, no strikes. One and one. So Wade Davis gave up 4 runs in the first, 6 runs for the afternoon in 6 innings, 10 hits. He struck out a couple and gave up 1 intentional walk. Little looper into short right and a base hit. Young has his second hit of the day. Another left-handed bat. He got Mauer to lead it off, gave up the base hit to the right-handed hitting Young, and now here's Jason Kubel, a lefty. Kubel drove in a run in the 4-run first. Scored one as well. And a strike.
This is a game where Randy Choate's going to get stretched out a little bit too. He's going to face a few hitters.
Yep. Little tap first base side, going to be foul. 0-2. Well, the choices have been limited the last couple games here for Joe Madden. He stayed away from Benoit and from Soriano last night. Now, because Cormier was extended last night, he has to stay away from him. The Rays hit the road immediately after this game and head north.
Yeah, there was a
Toronto.
There was a time you thought last night that Benoit right there on your left of your screen, you thought after Cormier went 3 innings and was turning the lineup over for a second time that Benoit might get an inning.
This one gets away from Shopping. Just kept moving away from the left-handed hitter, that slider, and Young moves up.
But what Joe Madden was thinking, well, if I use Benoit for an inning to put a 0 up there, as you look at this slider, just got away from Kelly Shopping, really had some bite on it. Then what do you do? So he tried to really stretch Cormier as long as he could.
Yeah, I tell you, they could have been up a creek.
Yeah. Well, Garza went down to the bullpen.
Yeah.
Actually, he was warming up. And the Rays were hitting in the bottom of the 13th, so it would have been Garza. I mean, he just was not going to use Benoit and Soriano. Of course, Benoit, you have to remember, is coming off surgery last year. He's pitched great for him. That's the last thing you want is Benoit to get hurt, or anybody for that matter. But the big strength of the Rays has been the back end of their bullpen. That's why Qualls is such a big addition to complement, Dan Wheeler and Benoit and Soriano.
Ground ball to first. Johnson's going to make this play unassisted. Young goes over to third. So Young is singled and moved to second on what was scored a wild pitch. Is now at third. For all the latest updates on the Rays, log on to TampaBay.com. From the diamond to the clubhouse and everywhere in between, you'll get in-depth news, stories, and scores 24 hours a day only at TampaBay.com. Michael Kadire. Slow. Kadire had a base hit in the first. 6 of the 10 hits allowed by Davis came in the first. Twins have 11 on the day. Kadire takes a strike at the knees. Chopper toward the middle. Rodriguez by the bag makes the pickup and the throw. We're headed into the bottom of the 7th, and the Rays trailing 6-0.
have a chance tonight to relive history. When this homestand started on July 26, a week ago Monday, Matt Garza pitched the first no-hitter in Rays history. And tonight, in its entirety, beginning at 7 o'clock right here on Sun Sports, you can watch it, DVR for posterity. A Matt Garza no-hitter game later on tonight. Back to you, Dwayne.
Well, there's Ibar hitting one down the right side that gets away from Kadire as the Twins chase it down. And Willie decides to hang on at first base. That's going to be an error charge to Kadire. And the Rays have the leadoff hitter on.
Yeah, good thing Willie stayed at first base. That was a great play by Casilla. Watch this ball get by Kadire, and Casilla does a beeline over there to pick the ball, and he takes a peek at Ibar, and he sees the turn, and he throws a one-hop strike to his shortstop Hardy. Ibar would have been out by 20 feet.
Here's Joyce. First pitch is a strike off speed to Matt Joyce. The Rays for only the second time this afternoon have the leadoff hitter on, this time via the error. Strike two. Boy, this is big news. The Twins have been charged with 2 errors in each of the last 2 innings. They've made only 36 errors all year coming into this game.
Yeah, 991 fielding percentage is #1 in all of Major League Baseball.
This one is down, a ball and 2 strikes. Broken bat and a foul ball up the right side. Well, obviously Joyce is not getting as good a wood as Kelly Shopping.
Yeah, he's getting that wood I used to get. I'll tell you what, though, Matt, he has a tendency to get his hands inside. When they try to pound him in, he does a nice job at bringing his hands in. Now, that ball was foul. But the more we see him, Matt, he does a nice job of getting his hands inside those inside fastballs and hitting them in the seats or for nice long doubles.
Counts 1-2. Fouls that fastball. Slowly working here in the 7th. And it's down.
Matt read that curveball pretty well. Good pitch by Slowey.
And a full count. It's popped up and will carry back and out of play. So we'll see another full count pitch. Ibar at first, 3-2 again. And a shot right at Kadire, who doubles Ibar off first base. Well, Joyce hit that ball hard, but right into the mitt of Kadire for the double play.
That couldn't have been any easier for Kadire, could it? About that, and just tag the bag.
Ibar says, "Hey, I froze."
Yeah, well, next time what I'm going to say is he's going to have to stand at first base like in Little League. Get no lead at all.
A foul ball on a check swing by Dan Johnson.
He did freeze, Dwayne. Yeah. He did. And we're referring to the double play Sean Rodriguez hit into the other day, bases loaded, where Ibar got caught off.
It's 1-1 freeze on a line drive. Well, hey, it didn't work. Ground ball down to first. Kadire's had a busy inning. He takes care of that one. We're through 7 innings, 6-0 Minnesota. at John's Pizza. Get the Canes today. Randy Choate faces Danny Valencia leading off the 8th inning. And that pitch stays a little wide. Started the slider out there. 1 ball, no strikes. Valencia 0 for 3. There's 1 wide. Choate worked the full inning in the 7th inning. Made 14 pitches. That's a strike. The Rays have Dan Wheeler up in their bullpen. They try to cover some innings here.
I think this is actually good for Randy to get stretched out and see a few hitters.
And a line drive caught by Rodriguez at second. His longest relief appearance is an inning and a third. This is the 3rd time now he's pitched that long, and the last time he did it was on the 27th of April in a game against Oakland. J.J. Hardy.
Well, he usually, Dwayne, comes in such a tight situation, there's no margin for error, and I think this will give him a little bit of leeway to get the feel of his pitches, and also against some right-handers, because sometimes you have to turn a switch hitter around to the right side.
1-1 to count to the Minnesota shortstop. It's been a busy year for Choate. He was the first American League pitcher to hit the 50 appearance mark. Roller foul. It's 1-2. Hardy has actually swung the bat better against right-handers than he has left-handers this year. Ooh, that didn't miss by very much.
Pretty good pitch right there. Well, Hardy has shown in this series, if you take a look at Fox Tracks, a little bit off the inside corner, that he likes the high ball. He'll jump on that high fastball, or definitely that hanging curveball. We saw that earlier.
A little ground ball, third base side foul. Yeah, he's 2 for 3 today off Davis, and last night he really got up on a high fastball out of the strike zone when he doubled off Wheeler. All of that against right-handed hitters here in the last few right-handed pitchers by Hardy the last few at bats. 2-2 and another little tap foul. One out. Valencia is lined out. And a liner into right field. That's going to fall for a base hit. So Hardy now has a 3 for 4 day as he singles into right. 1 on, 1 out. Second hit given up by Choate. You can start your weekend at Friday Fest, presented by Captain Morgan. That'll be Friday the 13th of August when the Rays take on the Orioles, and the first 10,000 women receive a navy blue metallic T-shirt. After the game, don't miss the Village People in concert. Visit RaysBaseball.com to get your tickets. Butera takes a pitch down. 1 ball, no strikes. Ground ball, second base. Rodriguez, Brignac, 1 over to first. He gets the double play ball out of Butera to retire the side. Bottom of the 8th coming, 6-0 Twins.
want to see happen, Rays fans. TB1 for the Yankees sweep, TB2 for the Red Sox sweep, TB3 for they split the 4-game set, TB4 the Yankees win 3 out of 4, TB5 the Red Sox win 3 out of 4. Text your vote to 789-789 as BJ Upton leads off here in the bottom of the 8th. We'll remind you that the Rays live postgame show will follow this afternoon's game, and Brian Anderson will be on hand with in-depth analysis. That's after the game. We'll also hear Joe Madden in his postgame press conference. Rays live the postgame show following this one, guys.
1 strike to count to B.J. Upton as he fouls it right back into the screen. The fastball up, 1-1. Well, Upton has 1 of the 2 hits for the Rays. Rolled a base hit into center field and hits this ball well back into the deepest part of the park, and that ball is out of here. A home run for B.J. Upton. That ball cleared the fence and then bounded back out onto the field after it hit the permanent stands. So Upton has the Rays on the scoreboard with his 10th home run of the year. And boy, he picked the deepest part for that one.
Well, he sure did. He drilled this one. It's a hanging slider right there. And look at Slow. He just turns around and puts his head down. He knows it's gone just by the swing.
Brignac hits a high foul out of play. Strike 1.
Great extension right there for BJ. And I think BJ thinks he's got it too, even though that is very deep out there. Definitely hits the blue wall. Here is back in play.
Foul ball by Brignac, strike 2. So the Rays are on the board. And that's strike 3 calls to the Rays shortstop Reed Brignac. Out on strikes for the second time. 9 strikeouts for Slowey.
Pretty consistent with the pitch count as far as pitches per inning. Nothing over 16.
Pitch is high to Shopik. 1-0. 1-1 count. It's off the plate. 2 balls and a strike. Cut the miss. 2-2. Shopik struck out on a curveball in the 3rd, and a slider in the 6th. And is hit by a pitch this time. It's the second man Slowey has hit in the last 3 innings. Rodriguez will be the hitter.
Tried to come in. This ball just ran up and in, had a little movement. Kelly in the forearm. A little lice later on that on the plane.
There's a line drive and a base hit for Rodriguez. Down to second base goes Shopik. Rodriguez has his second hit and is on for the 3rd time. Well, the Rays, with a couple of men on now, they're on the board. Carl Crawford's going to be the hitter, and that base hit by Rodriguez will get the bullpen up for Minnesota.
This ball, that's off the inside corner by a few inches. Sean stays inside it. Nice, fluid, level swing, good balance. Lines a sharp single. The left field. You see that ball just on the inside corner right there. Good overhit shot.
So Rick Anderson takes some time on the mound as Ron Mayhay starts to loosen down the left field line for Minnesota. And he's going to get some company. Wheeler is up for the Rays in the bullpen again. There's Wheeler, and back down the left side, Jesse Crane is joining the left-hander Mayhay. And here is Carl Crawford. He swings and fouls that fastball back. Crawford tried to be quick to that fastball.
I'll tell you what, he got a pitch too that we've seen him hit that thing out of the ballpark to right field a long ways. He had a good swing at it.
And a ground ball to the right side. Casilla up with it. Throw to first is in time. Casilla stretched out at his position at second. Shopping goes to third and Rodriguez to second.
Well, that's a big play right there by Casilla. That's a base hit. Otherwise, in a first and third and an RBI run in. That's a great play by Casilla. Great range.
Here's Longoria. Evan takes a strike. Evan 0 for 3 against Slowey. And missed that one and is behind in the count. The fastball had some movement.
110 pitches, 73 strikes, so Kevin's been pounding the zone.
He's coming off a 103 pitch outing against Seattle. A ball and 2 strikes. This is his highest pitch count of the year. Two and 2. Runners second and third. 2 outs, a run home. And a pop foul straight back. That's out of play.
Evan got a hanger right there. He got a hanging breaking ball.
All 3 is wide. So full count to Evan Longoria. And he walked him. He threw a slider in the dirt. The bases are loaded. Ron Gardenhire comes out of the dugout, and he's going to make a pitching change. So Slowey works 7 2/3. Call to the bullpen brought to you by Metro PCS. Wireless for all. To the bases with 2 outs. Kevin Sloy departs after 7 2/3. Made 114 pitches with 9 strikeouts today for the 26-year-old right-hander. Jesse Crain follows him to the hill.
48th appearance for Jesse Crain. He's pitched well. He pitched last night. He did a nice job. Just about a strikeout an inning for him.
So here's Ibar against Crain. The first pitch, a slider, and that's a strike. Up with that one, another slider.
Take a look at this pitch. Top part of the zone.
Foxtrack really liked both of them.
Sure did.
1-1. The second one called the ball.
Wow, same pitch.
2 balls and a strike. That slider is really his best pitch. And let's take a look at this one.
All 3 of them are pretty much right there. Wow.
Somehow Ibar's ahead in the count.
Yeah, he is.
Ground ball outside of first. Ibar finally got a fastball and bounced it foul.
Well, he's taking the strikes and swinging a ball. and he's even.
Rays on the board in this inning. Looking for some 2-out heroics. And that one is down. So the count goes to 3-2.
Ron Gardner is shaking his head, saying, where was that pitch? Now that one, I believe, at least from that angle, was a ball. The other ones are cookies, hangers.
So a full count and a little conversation. Butera heads to the mound.
He's an interesting guy. He's got a 95 fastball, and we saw the same thing last night, and that's how he pitched. He likes his breaking ball.
Yep. And really thinks that's his best pitch.
Yeah. And he's got a curveball, too. We've seen the sliders in this sequence. Only one fastball. The rest sliders. But he's got a good arm. 94, 95 with the fastball.
Now the 3-2. Ibar pops it up. That's a foul ball headed for the stands. 3-2 slider. He went with his best pitch. The Twins without John Roush. He's had an allergic reaction and wound up with blisters on his hands. Crain in there in relief of Sloy. And a foul ball. Right back into the screen. Another slider.
I tell you, there's been about 4 hanging sliders in this sequence, and Willie was all over that one. Crain got away with one there.
Three balls, 2 strikes. Shopik third, Rodriguez second, Longoria first. The third 3-2 pitch on its way. And it's high. Ball 4. Ibar draws the walk. That forces Shopik home. The Rays get their second run. Matt Joyce is due. Let's take a look at that pitch.
Another slider, top part of the zone. Yeah, Foxtrot's liked it, but that's not a good pitch. That one. The other ones were there. But I'll tell you what, if he used his mid-90s fastball more, he might find out he likes it. He's got a pretty good one.
Pitching change coming. Back after this. It's situations like this that make that goatee get even whiter.
Sure does.
Mayhay is the new pitcher.
Yeah, you got a nice game going on. You think, hey, this one's in the back. Slowey's pitching well, and all of a sudden the Rays are one swing away from tying it up. Mayhay coming in for his 37th appearance. Of course, he's got the good slider to get lefties out. So Joe Madden elects to pinch hit for Matt Joyce.
And it's Jason Bartlett to hit. Time called.
Now, there's going to be a lot of people out there saying, you know what, why isn't Matt Joyce swinging the bat? He's an everyday right fielder in a lot of people's minds out there listening. And he could tie this game. Well, Joe Madden's telling you I don't like the matchup.
Yeah. Well, there have been only a couple of at-bats for Bartlett here against Mayhay. He's 1 for 2. And there's a high fly ball hit deep to left. Back into the corner. Grand slam home run off the bat of Jason Bartlett. And all of a sudden, this game is tied. How about that? Some magic from the Rays here in the 8th inning. And boy, does Joe Madden know what he's doing.
Well, that's why I brought it up, because there's people out there watching this right now, questioning him, that are now swallowing their iced tea, going with ice down their throat, going, what was that? Well, that's why Joe Madden's managing.
A grand slam home run by Bartlett, and the Rays have put 6 up here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Dan Johnson takes a pitch up a little close.
That's why Joe's the manager. I think he knows his players better than other people out there that are going to second guess him on that. How about that?
The pitch is down 2-0. Well, he'd had only 2 at-bats against Mayhay. Was 1 for 2, and now he's 2 for 3, and that's a big 2 for 3.
Well, Joe's telling you when he does that, he just didn't like the matchup. That's all. Not that he doesn't like Joyce, but you mentioned earlier, Joyce has only hit off lefties, what, coming in at 29
About
times?
29 at bats lifetime against lefties. And Joyce, who had shocked Minnesota with a grand slam in Minneapolis, lifted, and Bartlett shocks him here with a grand slam in the 8th inning at Tropicana Field. That's a foul ball and is out of play.
What a tremendous comeback. Although I'm not surprised that the Rays have done this so many times.
Well, Joyce had hit 2 grand slams this year for the Rays. He hit that one earlier on the homestand against the Tigers. Pena had one, Crawford had one, and now Jason Bartlett has one. And that's ball 4. Johnson walks. And Gardenhire's going to go to the bullpen again. Upton is due. The Rays have sent 9 men to the plate to score 6. Upton's homer started it. The grand slam by Bartlett has pulled the Rays even. 6-6.
Retransmitted in any form, and all accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Tampa Bay Rays.
Jason Bartlett hitting the pinch hit grand slam. The Rays have 2 of those pinch hit grand slams this year, both at the expense of the Twins. The first grand slam for Jason Bartlett. Now Matt Capps, the new pitcher, and his pitch is a strike call to B.J. Upton.
Well, Matt Capps blew the save last night. Evan Longoria dropped a double to left, and then Dan Johnson ended up singling Evan in to tie the game in the ninth.
Oh, 2. Well, Upton homered to center field to start this inning. Did a slider off Slowy over the deepest part of the fencing here and off the permanent structure behind the center field fence. Bartlett, the big blow. And Upton is out on strikes. So that retires the side, but the Rays send 10 men to the plate in the 8th. They score 6, and here's an overhead look at the grand slam home run. Well, Jason Bartlett has hit a pinch hit grand slam, his 3rd home run of the year. He's in at shortstop now. Brignac moves from short to second, and Rodriguez from second base to right. Joaquin Benoit, the new pitcher for the Rays in this tie game. Top of the order now for Minnesota. And Repko takes a fastball high.
You got to watch out now for Jason dropping a bunt down. Benoit's numbers are outstanding. 0.70 earned run average. 53 strikeouts, 6 walks.
And there's a strike. 1-1. The Rays with a 6-run 8th inning. And they have pulled even. And a liner up the left side. That's going to be a base hit. Crawford with the pickup, and Repko's going to try to stretch it into a double, and he does. A 2-base hit for Repko to start the 9th inning.
Well, Jason Repko, I've talked a lot about him this series. He's going to get a lot of playing time for the Twins. This guy can play. He got a fastball middle in and up, mislocation, and he's thinking 2 right out of the box. He's got great speed. It's an obvious bunt situation now with Repko at second base and Casilla at the plate.
Casilla bunted for a base hit in the 5th. He's trying to get Repko over to 3rd here. And he takes the pitch high. 1 ball, no strikes. Well, take a look at that list. Some outstanding relief work, and Benoit's right on the top of that list. He throws it by Casilla. Fastball up.
Interesting. No bunt there. They may put it on here. We'll see. 1-0 count. Ron Gardner gives Casilla a chance to turn on it, but this ball goes up and away and out of the zone. Gotta believe he's going to put a bunt on now. We'll see.
And a foul back. Fastball. So it's 1-2.
Interesting. Because even if Repko's at 3rd, you're probably going to put Mauer on. But now Benoit's got a chance for a strikeout right here. Chasing those fastballs up. And you'll still put Mauer on. Intentional walk.
And a ground ball to the right side. Brignac with the pickup. Over to 3rd goes Repko. Casilla advances the man. Repko's at 3rd with 1 out. Joe Mauer is on his way to the plate, and probably on his way to first base.
You got to be. You got to set up a double play here. You can't let Joe Mauer hit in this situation, I don't believe.
And they will walk him. Mauer, who was intentionally walked back in the 5th inning. Be intentionally walked here in the 9th. Delman Young is on deck. And I'll tell you, between these two guys, you know, it gets to the point where you're playing lefty and righty, but both Mauer and Young have been so good, especially with men in scoring position. Mauer came in 9th in the league, and Young is over 400 with men in scoring position. He's the very best.
Well, but you got one hitter that's a 3-time batting champ and is squaring every pitch up, and Mauer, and you got one that if you make a mistake, he's going to hurt you. With Delman Young, but you have to put Mauer on in that situation and set up a double play.
Young had the game winner in the 13th inning of last night's game.
He got a curveball by Cormier, and it wasn't a bad one. He actually did a nice job of getting to it and lining a sharp single to left. Just got to make him expand the zone here, though.
He's 2 for 4 in this game. And a one-hopper to short. Out at second and safe at first. That's a fielder's choice. Repko remained at third. Bartlett made the pickup on one hop and made sure Repko was staying put.
Yeah, watch Jason Bartlett. Nice job. Now watch him take a peek over there at Repko. That freezes Repko, and he makes sure he gets the one out. And because he had to freeze Repko, it enabled Delmon Young to get to first base and beat the play. But that's a smart play by Jason Bartlett, because Repko can fly, and normally on a double play situation like that, you're breaking from third base. But Repko had to freeze on the semi-line drive.
Now here's Kubel. Kubel singled in a run in the first. 2 outs with men at first and third. Pitch is up. A ball, no strikes. Davis, Choate, and Benoit in this game for the Rays. Two and 0. Benoit missing with a fastball. Rays trying to pitch around the leadoff double by Repko. Kubel lifts one foul out of play. It's 2-1.
Delmon Young, if he wanted, could probably take second base, because Jason Bartlett has to play deep and on the outfield turf on the second base side. You see him right in the middle of your screen right here. That's Jason right there. So he would not want to leave his position early if Young broke, I don't believe, because that could create a hole for Kubel.
Rays have the shift on. 2-1 upstairs. Kind of interesting. It's just a handful of at-bats, but and the Rays have played this out with walking Mauer. Mauer 0 for 5 against Benoit. Delmon Young's 1 for 7. Kubel's 2 for 4.
Yeah.
So he's a tough out.
Well, and Benoit obviously pitching him carefully. He knows that, even though it's only 4 at-bats.
And a high pop-up. And that ball makes contact. Now it's going to fall, and that's going to be playable. That ball was up into the rigging and made contact up there. And if it comes down in fair territory, it's playable. And as Bartlett tried to recover in time to make the catch, he could not. The ball falls fair. Repko scores. And the Twins are going to take a 7-6 lead.
You talk about a break right there for the Twins. My goodness.
That ball kicked around up there. Made contact with the superstructure up there.
Yeah, right in this area right there. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. What a shame. What a shame.
And the Twins grab a 1-run lead. Now here's Kadire. Pitch is high. 1 ball, no strikes. Because that was a pop-up all the way, but the Trop could not contain it, and it made contact, bounced around there. fouled back. One ball and one strike.
Yeah. Keep going in reverse. Okay.
So it goes as a base hit, scoring Repko. Swing and a miss. Kadire could not catch up with the high fastball. Take another look up there, and you can see it rattling around.
Up in this area here. Should be coming down here in a second. Yeah, there it is. There it is. It's going to come straight down right there. Yep. That's tough.
And a foul ball. Just a little piece of it. You see the ground rules right there. And as long as that ball is fair, then it's in play. That's a base hit. Here comes another man in to score. Young crosses the plate. Kubel stops at second. Now it's 8-6. So Kadire drives in his 49th run of the year.
Yeah, he went tried to go inside. His ball ran back out over the plate, about belt high. Nice swing by Kadire to get through that one.
And Danny Valencia is the hitter. He lifts a popper into right. Rodriguez is there. Makes the catch and then retires the side. But a pop-up off the bat of Kubel that hit the A-ring, the key hit of this inning. 8-6 Minnesota. If you need a car, truck, or van, who are you going to call? AutoWay. Call 1-800-SHOP-AutoWay. Well, it's a two-run ball game now. The Twins taking the lead on that ball that hit off the A-ring up there and fell fair on the infield. And that turned out to be a base hit, the run batted in. They tacked on another run. Kubel Getting credit for a base hit, then Kadire followed with an RBI single. Bottom of the ninth underway, and Reed Brignac has fouled the first pitch away. That's a strike. Pitch high, 1-1. One and two, the count. Brignac up here. Jaso is on deck. And Brignac chases that pitch and is out on strikes. Well, the Checkers double. The Rays have run into a couple of pretty good starters here the last two games.
Yeah, Baker and Slowey, 15 2/3 innings combined, only gave up 7 hits. Of course, the 4 runs for Slowey were the one to BJ up, and the rest were really given up by Mayhay. The grand slam by Bartlett.
So John Jaso hitting for Shopping. Rays need a base runner to have a shot after scoring 6 in the 8th to tie.
Got the right guy to
2 up here in the 9th.
Got the right guy to draw a walk. Work the count at least.
1-1 the count. And Zobrist has moved into the on-deck circle. Matt Capps on the hill. Two and one. Pitch is low, and so Jaso has worked it to 3 balls and a strike.
Well, I think with the 2-run lead for the Twins, Jaso will take another one here, make him go all the way.
And ball 4. So the Rays get that base runner. A 1-out pinch hit walk.
Not even close, really, on the 3-1 pitch here. Up. Looks like it was in a little bit, too.
Well, there's Ben Zobrist to hit. Takes a strike. An opening fastball. Ben got back into the lineup last night. Had a double his first time up, also walked. Finished the night 1 for 5. Had a lower back issue. And he takes strike 2.
Had a couple of fastballs.
2 strikes the count. One ball outside of first. 1 on, 1 out, bottom of the 9th. strike 3 called on the inside corner. Zobrist caught looking. Third strikeout for Cap since he came on. 2 outs in the ninth.
Yeah, Ben a little bit too selective. He got 3 fastballs he took for strikes in this sequence. Now, those are tough pitches, but they're too close to take. He paints the inside corner right there.
Well, the big blow, as it turns out, that pop-up that hit the A-ring in the top half of the ninth inning off the bat of Jason Kubel. The second time in the history of Tropicana Field here, in the 13-year history of the Rays, that a fair ball has done that. Swing and a miss by Crawford. Carlos Pena hit a ball last year in a game against the Twins that hit the A-ring. It was in an at-bat against the left-hander Jose Mejadas. Ground ball right side. Casilla with it, turns and throws, and this game is over. Casilla ranging far to his left, made a heck of a play right there, and this game is over. It's an 8-6 final. Caps will get the win. Benoit will take the loss. And right now the standings in the AL East reflecting this loss and finding the Rays a half game back of the New York Yankees in the AL East. The Rays with a record of 67-41. New York 67-40. So the Rays wrap up the homestand 8-3 as we take a look at today's Taste Greatness moment. And for the Minnesota Twins, it's the final out here on that great play. Casilla ranging far to his left to get Carl Crawford and end this game. So the Rays finish 8-3 on the homestand. And they finish the season series, the regular season series anyway, against Minnesota 5-3. So we'll be with you to start the road trip tomorrow on Sun Sports from Toronto. Our coverage begins at 7 o'clock. First game of that series against the Blue Jays. Now for Kevin Kennedy, Todd Callis, and Brian Anderson, Dwayne Stats. Hope you've enjoyed the telecast. If not, the outcome. Again, the final: Minnesota 8, the Rays 6. Rays Live, the postgame comes your way next, and we will see you there.